Hey everyone, Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video we're taking a look at the MBRP Armor Pro single side exit exhaust system with the carbon fiber tip, fitting 2024 and newer Tacomas without the factory leaf springs. This system is going to be a great fit for the new gen Tacoma owner who's looking for a high quality exhaust with great sound and volume for a really affordable price. This is a full 3-inch catback and it's really going to wake up your truck, but it won't cost you a ton of money. On our loudness meter, we're going to give this one a very reasonable 3 out of 5. So if you're on the hunt for outright volume, this is not going to be your system. However, this is going to be great for you if you want something that's really tolerable for a daily driver and isn't going to get you your neighbors all in a twist every time you fire it up on a cold morning. I make no secret that I am a fan of MBRP exhausts, and that is because they offer you some of the best sound for your money, and this system in particular I think really exemplifies that. Like I mentioned already, this is a full catback system, so it's going to replace your mufflers and resonators, leaving you with these ones instead. So these are going to be a little bit different than the ones that you have from the factory. We'll get into that in a bit. This is MBRP's street profile, so this one is going to be a little bit more on the subdued side in comparison to some other exhausts. If you're looking again for outright volume or something like a straight pipe, this is not going to be it. As you heard from the clips at the beginning of the video, this is going to give you a bit more volume and some really good tone out of it. So it makes the truck sound a little bit deeper, you get more of that turbo noise, it's a little bit more grumbly and grown up feeling. Now if we're being honest, getting more volume out of these trucks is not that hard to accomplish because they don't have really any volume from the factory. So this is a noticeable improvement versus the stock system. Again, it's deeper, you get more grumble, you hear a lot more of it than you do from the stock system. I've said this about other MBRP systems for these trucks too, and I think that it gives it just the right amount of attitude. It's not going to blow out your eardrums, so it's a great fit for a daily driver, but it just makes it sound better and it's a more pleasant experience to drive your truck. Now, of course, as always, more noise on the outside means you're going to hear it more inside the cabin too. However, this one really isn't that loud. Again, as you heard from the clips at the start of the video, it's there just kind of bubbling beneath the surface. Really, until you hammer it, you don't hear a whole heck of a lot of it. So you can just turn up your music a little bit. You really don't even have to speak that much louder if you've got a passenger. So that means you can take a long road trip, you can drive it in traffic, you can drive it every day for several hours, and it's not going to grate your nerves like some other options. And that is again due in no small part to this big canister style muffler and the little resonator right here. Now as you can tell, these have quite a bit of baffling in them, which is going to help keep that volume down, but as you saw, they are pretty much straight through. And since this is a full 3-inch catback, it is going to be larger than stock, and that combined with the straight through nature of the muffler and resonator will help increase both airflow and reduce back pressure, both of which are especially important in a turbocharged engine like the iForce one you're finding in these new Tacomas. The less restrictions there are in the system, the better the exhaust gas can flow. That can also help your truck make some additional horsepower and torque, and it can improve response time too. And I'm not talking about just pure throttle response, I'm talking about the amount of time that it takes for that turbo to spool up and make boost. If there's less restrictions in the system, the hot side of the turbo can spin faster, you're gonna get boost a little bit quicker. Now we're not throwing this on our dyno to test it, and as always, don't expect huge power gains just from the exhaust. However, if you do couple this maybe with some other breather mods and possibly a tune further on down the line, you're gonna have a heck of a little performer out of this truck. Now when it comes to the tip, this system is going to exit in the same location as your stock exhaust, so it's gonna come out just behind the driver's side rear wheel. However, the difference is you get this cool layered carbon fiber 5-inch tip to set it all off. Now this is pretty big compared to the stock tip, or lack of tip as it were, and this is going to make a really nice visual improvement to the truck. It's not too wild, but it's definitely something that's going to catch the eye of even the casual passerby. However, the real tip-off will be when you start it up. But again, nothing too over the top, in keeping with the overall theme of this system. As I alluded to earlier in the video, this is a pretty high quality system. The entire thing is made using 3-inch mandrel bent T304 grade stainless steel. T304 is about the best that you can get. It's going to give you lots of protection against corrosion and rust. So if you live in a place where there's a lot of salt on the roads in the winter, or you get a lot of moisture in general, this might be a great option for you. Now that tip we were just looking at is 5 inches in diameter, and it's got carbon fiber over the top, but the base of it is also T304 stainless. So all told, everything here should look good and sound good for a long time to come. Plus, we've got some pretty nice build quality too. You can see the welds around here on the resonator are really nice, and it's really just a good quality setup as we've come to expect from MBRP. And all that is especially great considering the price, which in my opinion is probably the best part. This setup is only gonna run you about $975. And I acknowledge that $975 is still quite a bit of money, but it is the least expensive T304 catback on the market for this gen of Tacoma. Now you could save a little bit of money, about 25 bucks or so, and get the version of this with the polish tip. However, if you want something that's a bit more visually exciting, this is gonna be your system. And really, if you wanted this kind of sound or material quality, you'd really have to step up to a noticeably more expensive exhaust in most cases. So for the sound and volume proposition that this one provides, I really can't find any fault with it. Installation is gonna get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you about 2 hours to complete. This is of course a bolt-on job, and it doesn't require you to make any modifications to your truck itself. So it's gonna utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations, and it's gonna bolt right together. Comes with all the clamps and things that you need to get it installed too. Now I always say that exhaust can be a little bit finicky just because space is tight if you're not working on a lift. However, this is definitely a job that you can tackle at home, and we're gonna walk you through the process right now. So for that, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, 3/8 extension, a 15 and 14 millimeter socket, an exhaust hanger tool, a deburring tool, tape measure, marker, and also not shown would be a cutting tool.
All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our Tacoma, so let's get started. All right, so we're gonna start taking our factory exhaust off by working at the back and working our way forward. So we have our first flange here that's right in front of our rear axle. We're gonna grab our impact and 14 millimeter socket, and take these 2 nuts off. All right, now that those are off, this will allow us to remove our tailpipe. So we have a couple hangers to hold our tailpipe section on. We're gonna grab our exhaust hanger tool and pop our first one off here at the flange. And we just have our hanger in the rear here to support your exhaust. And you pull the tail section out. Next, we're gonna come up to our next flange. So this is in front of our main muffler. We have 2 spring bolts here. Same thing, impact and 14 millimeter socket. Take those 2 out. Now that those are out, we have 3 hangers on our muffler that we'll take off. All right, so we have our 1 hanger in the rear, and then we have 2 in the front of the muffler. So we're gonna use our hanger tool and pop them off. Just make sure you are supporting the exhaust because it will fall. All right, and we just take our 2 in the front off. All right, so now we have our last 2 spring bolts on our front flange. Same thing, we're just gonna put an extension on our 14 millimeter socket to get those out. And then this is just held on with 2 hangers, one here, one here. Pop those off. Pull front pipe out of the way. All right, now for our truck, since we have the 5-foot bed, our mid pipe will need to be cut. Now the mid pipe is the S-curve pipe after the front flange pipe and before the muffler. So we're gonna need to cut 13.2 inches off of the end of our mid pipe. As you can see, we already have it marked and already did that. So now that you have it marked, you have it marked all the way around. We're gonna go to our saw and cut that section off. All right, now that we have this set up, we can go ahead and cut it. All right, now after you get done cutting it, you're gonna wanna make sure that you deburr the edge of the metal here because it will have a bunch of sharp edges. You can use any kind of tool, we have a whiz wheel here with a sanding disc that just helps clean the inside and outside edges up. Now that you have that done, we can start installing our exhaust. Next, we're gonna get our front pipe here with our flange. We're gonna feed it up over our cross member first. And then we can get our rear hanger in here if we can. If you need to, you can take it off the top. See, this one just popped off. Nice and easy. Then we have also our front hanger here. Get it up over our cat. Then we're just gonna loosely thread in our spring bolts. We'll come back later and tighten everything up. So next we can get our mid pipe on. So to put our mid pipe on, we're gonna put our hanger up first. So you'll see the hanger with 2 points. We're gonna go into where our front muffler went in and just slide them on like that. Now you can adjust this later if it needs to go forward or backwards. But we're gonna throw one of our clamps on there. Just gonna squeeze it so that the nut is exposed, and just slide it so it locks up in that groove there. I'm gonna grab our mid pipe, put our clamp over first. All the clamps are the same size. They are all 3-inch. We can put that through our hanger here and then on our front pipe. Just like that. Now we have our muffler go on. Now the front flange will go over this clamp here. And then we have another clamp to go on the back. So it's just a little bit of maneuvering, but get that on, let that rest. Then we'll put the clamp on the back. Just like that. Our next piece is our over the axle pipe. We're gonna get that into position, and we have 2 hangers, one here and one here. So get it into our back of our muffler. Just like that. So we just have our last little muffler section. We're gonna put our clamp over first. And then we have our hanger right here that we're gonna go into also. Slide it into our over the axle pipe. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten everything. We're gonna start at the front, work our way backwards. So we're gonna start at the front at our flange, grab our impact, extension, and 14mm socket, and tighten these 2 spring bolts down. Now you wanna go back and forth on them so you don't pull it weird. You wanna tighten them down evenly. All right, we have our first clamp at the front of our mid pipe, so we're gonna grab our impact and 15mm socket, tighten that down. Just wanna make sure you orient it correctly. Don't point it up towards the drive shaft, basically. And then we have our one that's on our hanger in front of the muffler. You'll see that the muffler is slid into the clamp. We just tighten that all the way down. We have our clamp at the back of our muffler here. And then our last clamp here above our axle. Last thing we need to do is put our tip on. So once you get that over and adjust it where you would like, there's a 14mm bolt at the bottom. Just grab your impact and socket and tighten that down. And that wraps up our install of our MBRP Armor Pro single exhaust system with carbon fiber tip with a side exit for a 2024 Tacoma without leaf springs. And remember, for everything Tacoma, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.